Hello, welcome back to
Hello.
BrokeN Boys. It's episode 155. I am Mike.
And I am eating Taco Bell.
Hmm.
I'm also Colin. But
Who you calling?
yo, mama.
Nice. As you can see, Colin has metamorphosized into four individuals over there. Our favorite four people in the world. The four members of
That
Weezer
humor
Blue.
joke.
Yes. The four members of Weezer. Right on there. And that's because today we're going to talk about the entire album discography of the band Weezer. We did it.
Yeah.
We sure did it. And we will talk about it. But before we do that, how was your week, Colin?
My week was alright. Pretty good.
That's good.
Um same old, as it has been this month or so. Um Max has been over all week, just hanging out. We started playing The Last of Us Part 2.
Oh gosh.
And we haven't. We're slowly making our way through the first hour or so.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we got to the Dina Ellie kiss. And she was like,
Ooh.
"Yeah, I love lesbian representation."
Hell yeah.
Um,
We love
I was
lesbians
like,
on this
"Hell yeah!"
podcast.
Um,
Almost as much as we love MILFs.
almost as much.
Yeah.
Milfs are they're just that guy.
That guy, yeah.
But you know, been working. Been schooling. I got a take home. You're not going out in your socks, are you? Sorry. She left her phone in the car and she was about to walk out of the apartment complex in her socks. Don't beat me up. But yeah, been working, been schooling. I got a test, take home test that's due on Monday at 11:59.
For
That's
what class?
an essay and also for my urban history class.
Ah.
Which boy, I love that class. It's not boring at all.
Mm-hmm.
My my professor is he obviously likes his subject quite a bit, but God, it is just so boring. I have no interest in urban history, the history of cities
Mm-hmm.
at all. It's just oof. Like last semester, I was learning about the Civil War. I was learning about Chinese history. That shit's interesting.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I just don't care about how.
Buildings.
Yeah, I don't care about buildings and the introduction of you know water lines in cities.
Mm.
It just, oh God.
Riveting.
But yeah, it's just the most fun. But that's been fine. My education class is okay. I got to read a whole book next week,
Oh.
so
Will
fun.
you read the whole book?
Maybe. I'll at least try, and
Mm-hmm.
then I'll just chat GPT a summary.
Yeah.
But but joke by the way, institution of
Yes.
education.
Institution that we've never revealed, but can definitely not be traced back.
Um, but but that class is fun ish. Teacher the professor for that class, I think I've talked about her, but she's kind of cringy a little bit. She's a millennial, so like an
What?
old millennial.
I'm not sure
So
if you
like
have mentioned that before.
no, yeah, well she's an older millennial, so
Mm-hmm.
she has two kids. One of them's an autistic son,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like, well, I'm not sure if any of you like neurotypical people or whatever, but I might be a little neuro spicy.
Mm.
And I'm like, oh,
I got three
brother.
puppers at home. Yeah.
Yeah, she would say that unironically. I guarantee it. But yeah, that's fine. And then my Spanish class is Spanishing. I was
Mm-hmm.
kind of popping off on Monday or Tuesday because we entered a new unit. It's like food now. So like
Okay.
he was talking about like fast food or whatever.
I
And he
remember
was
that
like,
unit,
yeah,
kind of.
yeah. And he was like, what would you call fast food? How would you say that in Spanish? And I was like, comida rápido, rápida. And he was like, yep. There's another thing that we call it in Spain as well. And he wrote down the word basura.
Mm.
And he was like, what's that mean? I was like, garbage. And he was like, yep, we call it garbage food as well.
All right.
And I
Wait,
was
was
like, yeah,
comida rapida actually like a legit term though as well?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Yeah, I'm just that guy. But
Yeah, Carlito,
and
man,
then
or Carlos. Sorry,
yeah, Carlos. Not could have been Cristobal.
Cristobal. That's right.
If if Barry had been out at the time, and
Mm.
I would definitely would have gone with Cristobal.
I
But
definitely would have gone with Hank.
honk, honk and Cristobal.
Yeah.
But yeah, work's been okay. Nothing like super crazy this week. Nothing like last week with the abusive coach or whatever.
Right.
But
Yeah.
um, just just people being people. Those shack shakes are still going crazy.
Oh yeah.
But you know that sudden shift in the weather was not fun
Mm.
though.
Yeah. It
Um,
did very suddenly become cold.
yeah, because it was nice. It was pretty nice and everything. And like last week, we were in the 50s, and I could comfortably wear a sweatshirt outside without a jacket on. And then suddenly the other day, it was like, ha, here's snow
Yeah.
uh, and 20-degree weather. I'm like, ah, that fucking beaver said it was going to be spring soon.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, not fun. I didn't listen to anything other than Weezer this week. So,
Wow.
you know,
You were
how
slacking.
was I know, but how was your week, Mike?
My week was fine. Didn't really do too much, but last Saturday, so a week ago, um, we did a cool thing where my family they're going to see Fiddler on the Roof, old musical. Um,
Uh,
yeah, they're gonna go see that, and they're like, "You want to come too?" And we have another ticket. I was like, "Okay." So did that. That was pretty good. I knew nothing about that story. Um, and you know, some good songs in there. We went to the same place because like when we walked into like the theater, I was like, I've been here before. What where have we
yeah.
been here before? And it's the same place we went to see West Side Story in eighth
Uh,
grade at. And
Maria.
yeah, and I remembered that, and like when we walked into like the main hall, I was like, no, I've been here because I remember eating food over there in like the big hall. And I was like, I distinctly remember that for some reason, and then I connected the dots, like, okay, it must have been when we said West Side Story, and then when we went into the actual theater, I was like, okay, yeah, that's where we saw West Side
Yeah.
Story. But
Did we see Sound of Music in that same place, or was that somewhere different?
I don't remember. I remember I didn't see that one though. There was like, because I
Oh,
remember,
really?
yeah, I didn't go on that one for some reason. Because
Oh,
I remember staying back and watching Sound of Music in the choir room with all the other people who didn't go.
uh,
But So they may have been the same place, but I wouldn't know. Uh,
Hmm.
but yeah, Fiddler on the Roof was pretty cool. It's a pretty good story. Wasn't my favorite musical or play that I've seen, but it also wasn't my least favorite. It's just pretty good.
Hmm.
Um, and then I also got a I don't remember what it was, but it's like the type of carbonated water you would get in like France or something. Like if you just ordered water and not still water or whatever. Um, that was pretty good. I like me some carbonated water. Nice and refreshing. But then after the musical, we went to I don't remember what it was called, but it was like a nice steakhouse that was nearby. Um,
Oh,
and I got myself a steak at the steakhouse. It was very very good.
what's that?
It was very very good. Got that and I think it was like a I forget what it was called. Oh, it was called Not Your Ordinary Mac and Cheese. Um,
Oh,
and I think the only unordinary thing is that there was like a little bit of onion in there or something, but that was also very, very good. Um, really good. And then I got a little slice of key lime pie that was also very, very good. um,
you're a key lime pie guy.
um, I I'm not like against it. It's not like my favorite thing in the world, but of like the options they gave, that's the one that sounded the most appetizing to me, and that's like probably the best key lime pie I've ever had. It was like almost cheesecakey, in like
Oh,
the way that like the consistency, but it had like just like a really good flavor to it. It wasn't. I don't know. I think the only times I've had key lime pie have been like pretty artificial ones. Um, so this one felt like real, and it was good. It was real good. I could tell you that.
well, that's good.
Um, mm-hmm. So yeah, that was pretty cool. But other than that, I mean, this week I finished God of War. That was
Oh, yeah.
also very good. 100% at it. Got all the achievements. Um, I really don't like the oh, I already forget which one. I think it was Niflheim. That planet with like the mist and stuff. That you need like the special armor or whatever to whatever. I don't know. I
Yeah.
I found that whole planet to be a little too gimmicky for me. But it's okay. I can forgive the
Did
game. It's the
you
only.
go after all the Valkyries?
What was that?
Did you go after all the Valkyries?
Yes, yeah, I got all those. Killed all those gals, I guess. I freed all of them. We'll put it that way. Um, and yeah, that was pretty cool. As well. Um, all those boss fights made me sweat a little bit.
Yeah, those hits are not easy.
I did most of them. I did like not as I found them, but like I did them like in between the last parts of the story.
Uh,
So like I wasn't just like doing all of them in a row, and I'm kind of glad I did that because man, that would have sucked. I think I did like three in a row if you include like the last one. Um,
oh,
but they were like the Niflheim one, which actually wasn't really all that hard. Um, but yeah, I got all the achievements and stuff though, so that was pretty fun to do.
hell
Um,
yeah.
Hell yeah.
How'd you like the end of the story there?
It was good. Yeah, it was a good ending. I'll say the little like I don't know what it was like when you go like back to the house or whatever, and there's like a little teaser of like Thor or whatever.
Uh,
It felt a little a little marvelly, just to be
uh,
continued. And I thought that was a little cheesy, but the actual ending of the story was pretty good. Or it was
yeah.
very good. I liked the development between them, and all the revelations about uh you know his son's story, Atreus' story, and all that. I was like, dang, that's pretty cool. Some cool stuff.
Mhm.
Um,
Did you find Atreus annoying for a little while or
did I find him what?
annoying?
Oh, annoying. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, because last time we talked, he was being a little shit. Yeah, I mean, kinda. I once we went to Helheim, he really just like snapped out of that instantly. I was like, okay. But
Uh,
uh, but yeah, it was good. It was really good. I liked it.
yeah,
Um,
I'm glad.
but yeah, thank you. But did that, and then not really much after that. I mean, got an actual therapist thing scheduled for next week, so woo,
Yeah.
the mental health story continues. But So at least that's finally happening about 4 weeks after when I really needed it, but it's okay. Yeah.
Well,
it'll
it'll still be nice to have.
yeah, it'll still be good to have for sure. But man, that's an annoying process. But
Oh yeah.
yeah. That's pretty much all I did this week though, was those, and I've been taking walks and listening to music and stuff. And that was pretty good for this Weezer thing because it was pretty good to just listen to an album on a walk.
Yeah.
But yeah. Um
Yeah.
yeah, other than that, I listened to a couple things this week, I think, besides Weezer. Um I did listen to the Kanye West and Ty
Oh.
Dolla Sign album.
Oh
Uh
boy.
Strong 4. And then I listened to the Quadeca album. Listened to the Quadeca album that came out as well. Um, Quadeca album is very good. The Scrapyard, or it's just called Scrapyard. Uh, it's like an evolution of the stuff from I Didn't Mean to Haunt You. It's a little less like conceptual and like it's a little more easygoing of a listen, but like it's still got that cool production and a bunch of different styles that he's trying out on it. It's a really
Hmm.
cool record, and you should definitely check that one out because
Yeah.
there's some cool things on there. But yeah, there was that, and then pilots. Pilots are teasing.
Oh.
The pilots are
Oh.
teasing. I think it was Thursday. I think it was Thursday. They put like
Hmm.
red tape over all of their albums except the first one. It was tape over the eyes of everything on their albums. Like
Hmm.
on like the album covers on like Spotify and Apple Music and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, that was a thing. And then people are getting like Clancy letters in the mail and like Dima stuff.
You see the new logo?
I did see the new logo. Yeah, I think it was in Poland or something that people found an advertisement with a new logo layout on it.
It's a banger. It's a banger.
It is a banger. It looks
The
like.
return of
Oh, sorry. Return of.
the return of the two dashes.
Turn of the two dashes. Yeah. And also, it looks like, at least if going from that one advertisement, it might be a red and yellow era. Might be
Oh
a
yeah.
mix of Blurryface and Trench, which that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Um, I
Like I'm I think that's cool, but I kind of wish they went with a different color.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
it depends on how, because this is supposed to be like the climax of the story or whatever. And I kind of
yeah.
like it in that sense. If it's the bishops versus
The
the
banditos.
Banditos. Thank you. I was about to say the other guys. Um, but I can see it in that sense. Also, I really have always loved. I think it's when they do Jumpsuit, the bridge of Jumpsuit, and they have like the red light shining on Josh and like the yellow one on
Uh-huh.
Tyler or whatever. I've always loved that visual as well. So like, I don't know. I think the red and yellow is pretty cool, but
I saw a picture of them. It was just I don't know where they were, like the Super Bowl, maybe I don't know where they were. They
mm,
were, but Josh's hair was red again. So,
I saw that too. And people were thinking it looked like Tyler had shaved his head as well.
mm, well, here we go, bub.
Here we
Here we
go.
go, baby.
Here we go. People are theorizing a single on the 29th, I think, is what
Right now.
a lot of clues are pointing to. So
Mm,
we will see that leap year.
we'll see.
That leap
Yeah,
year.
yeah. I already apologized to Max for the person I'm about to become,
Oh
but
yeah, we should apologize to our audience too.
yeah, yeah.
Even though Max is our audience at this point, but
Yeah. I mean, they haven't. You know, they were around before Scaled and Icy, but you know, we I don't think we got super crazy until for that one as much as we did for like Trench.
right, yeah. Well, Trench was built up so well, but
Yeah.
still some of the best
Yep.
album marketing I've ever seen.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Do you have any other music news?
Music news? Not sure. I don't think so. I was just gonna talk about 21 Pilots, but
Yeah,
I
sorry,
think
I kind of took over.
oh, you're okay. I think um O-Rod's going on tour soon.
Ooh,
She's got a crumble cookie, exclusive crumble cookie.
is it purple?
Um, yep,
How'd I know?
it's it's purple, cream filled, and has sprinkles on the sides.
It's probably
Um,
pretty good.
so you know, it'll make you shit weird, I'm sure, but
Mm.
it's there. So if you want an O-Rod crumble cookie, wherever she's performing, I think they'll have that cookie in that area. So
Oh, well, there you go.
so
Advertisement for O-Rod right
yeah,
there. Not
and
sponsored.
then I think T Swift was like, if you pre-save or if you pre-order my album from my website, you get exclusive access to this one extra bonus track.
Wow.
So I pre-ordered and
Yeah.
I uh, I
You're gonna
I
be one of
couldn't
the
stop myself.
lucky few.
One of the lucky few. One of the lucky few million.
Yeah.
Uh, um, but yeah, no other music news. The Super Bowl happened.
Oh yeah.
Um, Chiefs won again 2 years in a row, I think. So good, good for them.
Did you go anywhere for Super Bowl?
Nope.
Yeah.
I sat here and I kind of half paid attention to some things, but I was just waiting for trailers and stuff. The
Mm.
Deadpool and Wolverine trailer dropped,
I did see that
and
one. I think that's the
it
only
looks
thing I've seen.
yeah. I think it looks pretty fun. I'm excited to see how Disney does Deadpool
Mm.
uh, and Wolverine. I love Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, so
No.
we'll see. Uh, but and then Marvel also revealed their cast for the Fantastic Four, and that's cool. They got Pedro Pascal playing Mr. Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
They got Joseph Quinn, who played Eddie Munson in Stranger Things season 4, playing the Human Torch.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they got Eben Moss Backrack, who is cousin from The Bear, playing the Thing,
Oh,
which I'm happy about because he's great and I love him. It's also his second Marvel character he's playing though, because he was a character in the Punisher show.
oh.
So
There's probably not
uh,
many people who have done double roles like that in the Marvel universe.
there's surprisingly a good few.
Oh, really?
I think, yeah, like there was one of the main characters in the Eternals was also a character in Captain Marvel, I think, and then
Hmm.
there were a couple others. So it's like they'll reuse once in a while. But now
Yeah.
that there's like a multiverse thing, now it's like, oh well,
Yeah, you can tie it
I
into the
guess
lore.
yeah. And but the reveal was kind of cool because it seems like the movie's going to be set like in the 60s or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like the art for it looked like it was drawn and like for like a magazine back in the day.
Yeah, I was seeing that picture. It is a pretty cool illustration. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. The also the woman who's playing Invisible Woman is I think I saw like the granddaughter of or the granddaughter of the one of the guys who created the Fantastic Four.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So that's kind of cool, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to see that. That comes out next year, and there's no trailer yet, but the cast is cool, so I'm excited for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it sounds like a good cast.
Yeah, but oh, I don't know if I have any other news.
Yeah, the only other thing I have down here is that Two Mad died, which that was
Oh yeah,
a really weird
elbow show.
situation.
Uh,
Yeah, he had died, and then like within like an hour or something, he was outed as apparently a predator and pedophile,
yeah.
and also had attempted murder on someone multiple times. It's just like,
Hmm.
oh my gosh, this is a lot of information at once. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, I didn't know much about that guy. He was in a Super Mega video at some point, and
yeah,
that's like the most amount of exposure I had to him.
yeah. He
So,
would. I saw him a few times, like hanging around like Schlatt and like the Carson crew when Carson was still a thing. Um,
mhm.
and like I don't know. I know he was like kind of going off the deep end recent like within like the last year or so. I don't know.
Yeah.
He never really seemed like quite the stable person. So
Oh.
yeah, but that was an interesting thing. um, but
Yeah, that definitely did happen.
that definitely did happen. Yeah.
He died with Overwatch open.
Yeah. Yeah,
Which
he
was kind of
overdosed
funny.
with Overwatch Open. It's just an
He lost
unfortunate
one
way
too
to
many games.
yeah, an unfortunate way to go out. But yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I don't have any other news other than that.
All
So
right. Well, this
I
is quite the long one. So.
it is. We should get into it. And I think since you're all dressed up and everything, I think you should take the honors on this first album. Uh,
Oh,
we're we're talking about Weezer's discography now.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah.
Uh, all right. Well, we start in 1994 with Weezer, the blue one. Um, a true classique. The sheer amount of recognizable and iconic tracks on here is impressive to me, considering it was their debut record. I've listened to this album about a million times since I got into the band, and I always have a lot of fun with it. It's nothing too like revolutionary or anything. Got some good rock, got some good rock with some interesting moments here and there, like the beginning of "Undone," the sweater song. I like Rivers' delivery, and the lyrics are all well done. Other than maybe "No One Else," which is a little incelly, which is fine as long as it doesn't continue. Um, but yeah, I love this debut. It's a good time. I love it. People know what it sounds like because songs like Buddy Holly and Say It Ain't So exist. Um, but yeah, my favorites were Say It Ain't So, Buddy Holly, Undone the Sweater Song, The World Has Turned and Left Me Here, and My Name is Jonas, and my least favorite was No One Else. I give it a late 9.
Nice, nice. And sorry, I probably should have prefaced this part before you start reviewing. But for just a brief rundown of our exposure to Weezer, for
Uh,
me, basically all of this was new. I'm familiar with OK Human, because Colin had told me about that one when that album came out, 2021, I think, or 22.
yep,
Um,
21.
21. Uh,
21?
I had listened to that album, and I think I listened to Van Weezer like once, but didn't really go back to it. Um, so that's literally my familiarity with their albums. I had listened to the Seasons project, but I've never listened to anything. What about for you though, real quick?
I had listened. I've been into Weezer since like 2019, I think. I listened to Blue, Green, uh, Blue, Green, White, Black, Teal.
You hit all the colors.
Okay, Van Weezer, and Hurley, and everything will be all right in the end.
Gotcha.
So a good amount of their discography, but I had kind of missed out on the bad ones that we'll
Yeah,
get into.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I love Weezer, but I'm a Weezehead.
Little Weezehead over there.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. For me,
Weeze at it.
Weezer Blue album. All right. Random thought that I had while listening to this. Radiohead only had Pablo Honey out at this time, so there was a period of time where Weezer had a better quality output than Radiohead. Really makes you think. Anyways, this was pretty good. I didn't really know what to expect quality wise before heading into this album, but I've heard many people talk positively about it. And yeah, while this is somewhat straightforward, like garage rock type stuff, I think Rivers and Friends managed to carve their own unique voices into the genre. This record is just filled to the brim with personality and the youthful energy to back it up. The vibe wasn't as nerdy as I was anticipating, and honestly, I think that works in benefit of the record. It's more like a nerdy undertone to songs that are genuinely like well structured and written well. Um, it's a nice change of pace from the wheeze I've been exposed to prior to this. And while a lot of this album does get memed, I don't think I've ever fully listened to any of these songs before.
Oh,
Like any of them. and they honestly still hold up even with the memes behind them.
Yeah.
The Buddy Holly riff made me smile because it worked well in the song, not just because it was ironic. um, uh, Also, an 8-minute Weezer closer has no right being this good. um,
Yeah, right. I always forget that that's 8 minutes long.
yeah, this was all around just a really good rock album, and it's one that I'll definitely check out again in the future. My favorites were "Say It Ain't So," "Only in Dreams," "Buddy Holly," "My Name Is Jonas," "Undone the Sweater Song," "Holiday," and "In the Garage." And my least favorite was "No One Else" as well, and I also gave it a light 9.
Ooh, hell
And
yeah.
that's like one of the longer reviews here, just so you
Perfect.
know. So, all right, now we move on to Pinkerton, 1996, and I put at the very beginning the Sex album. Um,
Yeah.
this one gets noticeably less cool, but I find it to be done in a very self-aware, self-pitying type of way. I was really digging the first leg of the record with them going in a much noisier direction with their sound,
Mm,
but it's not as intense after. It's not as intense throughout after the first few tracks, which I was actually a little disappointed by. I could have used a little
right.
bit more noise throughout, but it's okay. As the tracks go on, I think the instrumentals and melodies are consistently the best aspect of the record. There's no denying that this thing is catchy as hell, and I personally find the song structures to be extremely satisfying as a listener. But I don't think a lot of these songs have aged the best on a lyrical end. Like I said, it's intentionally lame, but also just kind of off-putting at times. Rivers writing a song about an 18-year-old girl in Japan, or or one about
Mhm.
falling in love with a lesbian and wishing she was just quote unquote a little straight. Uh, I
God.
I think the lyrics are approached with enough care that he doesn't come across as a total creep. But man, is he towing that line? um,
Yeah.
I just find the lyrical content on here to be a little bit too distracting for me. But the music itself is pretty good, so I don't know. My favorites were "Get You," "Tired of Sex," "The Good Life," "Butterfly," and "Across the Sea." I liked instrumentally.
It's
And my
creepy.
my least favorites were "El Scorcho" and "No Other One." And overall, I gave it a light 8.
Cool. All right. Uh, so, oh, you're telling me they went full install, but but this album is deemed a classic and one of, if not their best, by a ton of people. I mean, all right, uh, as long as they aren't gonna say any questionable things about 18-year-old Japanese girls.
God, I
Uh,
hope not.
I got fuck. I hope not. Yeah, I said this is one album that I have meant to listen to since I got into Weezer, but I just hadn't. And I think that the first track's title, "Tired of Sex," kind of turned me off to listen to it. Um, oh, I hit the wrong button. Uh, yeah, but for the good first portion of this record, I was enjoying quite a bit. Um, I liked different feel from the debut until "Across the Sea." I had heard of this track and its strange lyrics, but woof.
Yeah.
What was Rivers thinking? Otherwise, though, I see why it's a classic album. It's a cool switch up and does a lot of things that I really enjoyed. I like the noisiness as well. Uh, but it's obvious as to why Weezer has been deemed the incel band. But my favorites were "Get You," "Butterfly," "The Good Life," "No Other One," and "Tired of Sex." And my least favorites were "Across the Sea" and "Pink Triangle." And I gave it a decent 8.
All right. I'm glad we both like "Get You" the most on there. Like
Yeah, it's a good fit.
that one, I just thought was really fun, and I saw an album of the year. It wasn't like the lowest rated one or something, but like there was a lot of other ones rated higher. I was like, really? I thought that was so fun.
Yeah, it's a good. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun. I like that one a lot. All right, and then we move on to Weezer Green from 2001. Um, I've heard a lot of slander around this record, but I don't know. I've always enjoyed it as much as the Blue album since I got into the band. It was after a good 5 years, and people loved the last couple records, so I get not loving the direction they went in. But it's honestly just a lot of fun throughout. It's not as incelly. It's still a little nerdy, but as not as nerdy. Um, there's what did I write? There's bangers like "Island in the Sun," which is their most streamed song by like 4 million streams, which kind of surprised me for some reason.
Mm.
Because I thought like Buddy Holly would be up there. This Buddy Holly's their second most streamed song, but I was like, damn, that's 400 million streams lower. um, but yeah, I enjoy this. I enjoy this album a lot. I love the feel and how it kind of changes throughout the songs, like with Hash Pipe. Um, it emulates Blue in a good way while being just different enough, in my opinion. But my favorites were Island in the Sun, Hash Pipe, Don't Let Go, Crab, and Photograph. And my least favorite was Glorious Day, and I give it a strong 8.
All right. Um, I'm gonna be the other
Oh,
voice here, I guess, a little bit, kind of. Not too bad, but yeah, Weezer Green album, 2001. First thing I says is, damn, where did all their character go? um,
oh,
that's one of the biggest things I enjoyed about those first two albums was the unique style that they were implementing into a standard rock sound. This all just kind of sounds like standard rock to me, aside from Island in the Sun, which actually has some character to it. I feel like Rivers is still providing some fun and catchy vocals, but everything else just felt really sterile to me. There's nothing interesting happening in the instrumentals. I found the mixing to be like really bland for this time period. And it just kind of it just sounds like there wasn't a lot of effort put into this project from anyone but Rivers. It's kind of how it came across to me. I don't know. It wasn't like bad, but I found it to be like really average for me
okay.
personally. Me personally.
That's
Um,
fair.
but my favorites were Island of the Sun, Crab, and Hash Pipe. My least favorites were Smile, Simple Pages, and Don't Let Go. And overall, I gave it a light 6.
Hmm.
Wasn't
All
quite
right.
for me. It's okay though.
That's okay.
Um,
Yeah. Also, that album came out like 3 days before I was born.
oh damn.
So I think I was born to be a Weezehead.
I guess
Mm,
so. Yeah.
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 Anyway.
um, cool. Then we move on to Maladroits in 2002. And I said, well, this was a surprise. I don't
Mhm.
think I had even heard of this album prior to this listening, and this already feels like an underrated gem in their discography.
Mhm.
Weezer goes for a bit of a darker rock sound on here, and I think it works really well with their style. The riffs are catchy, but also bangers. The choruses and verses are well written, and it just kind of sounds like everyone is giving their all on here. I was kind of sad to see that the streams on this one are a little low because I found it to be really fun and engaging for most of its runtime. I do think it loses a little bit of steam towards the end, but not in a way that like completely kills the record or anything. Some of these songs are honestly some of my favorites I've heard from them. Maybe I just like the style of rock, but nevertheless, I found this to be very enjoyable. My favorites were Burnt Jam, Take Control, Death and Destruction, American Gigolo, and Keep Fishin'. And my least favorites were Possibilities, Dope Nose, and Space Rock. And overall, I gave it a light to decent 8.
Cool. All right. I said this one surprised me. Went in a different direction than I was really expecting them to. The heavier sound was a cool switch up. I like that darker feel, and it worked well with Rivers' voice and the lyric work on here is too. Um, with only one listen, it was hard to kind of fully process it completely, but uh, I think it'd be cool to see more of this from them. Um, I think I said it felt like they put more love and passion into working on this one. Um, and while it's not like perfect or anything, I don't expect perfect from Weezer really.
Yeah.
Uh, not a lot to say about this one, but it's one that I will have to return to see how I feel. But my favorites were Death and Destruction, Slob, Slave, December, and Take Control. And my least favorites were Burnt Jam, Space Rock, and Love Explosion. I'll have to return to Burnt Jam, hearing that that was your favorite one.
I
But
don't remember it, but I remember liking
all right,
it.
and I gave it a light 7 just for now.
Cool.
All
All
right,
right, now on to the most well-loved album.
yeah. We go to Make Believe in 2005. Uh, this one also surprised me. I feel like I had heard not great things about this album, and I know people don't like Beverly Hills, which I get, but it's a song that I've had fun with when I've heard it. Um, but I actually enjoyed this album a good bit. Uh, It's got that kind of heavier sound throughout it from Maladroit. Not as heavy, but it's still there and does cool things throughout. Though there are a couple of genuine stinkers on here. We are all on drugs, and I think my best friend were pretty ass, but I don't remember very much. Um, but we are about to dive into dry spell, so I'll take what I can get. Uh, this is one I'll return to, and I don't get the things I've heard about it, but solid record for me. My favorites were the damage in your heart, uh, hold me, perfect situation, peace, and Beverly Hills. And my least favorites were we are all on drugs, my best friend, and pardon me. And I give it a solid 7. I enjoyed it. I don't know.
All right. Yeah, Make Believe, 2006 or 2005. Um, I said, "Am I going insane? I've heard bad things about this record, and
Hey.
and I saw that the scores were pretty low before heading in, but I proceeded with an open mind, and I enjoyed this like quite a bit. Like, don't get me wrong, it has some bad moments on it, like My Best Friend and We Are All on Drugs, which I admittedly thought We Are All on Drugs was kind of dumb fun in a way. Um,
Yeah.
and Beverly Hills isn't like the greatest song ever made, but I also don't really hate it as much as
Yeah.
everyone else does apparently. And I said, honestly, I really thought this was all right. It's honestly a pretty wholesome record, and I think Rivers really falls into his innocent, boyish writing style on here, which is what I'm most familiar with from the most recent projects. But I think the songwriting in general is just really nice, and it complements the instrumentals well. They take a little bit more of an alt rock feel on here, which maybe explains why I'm more positive on it, and maybe why you're more positive on it
Mm.
as well. But I don't know. I think they write some really solid hooks throughout, especially "Pardon Me," which I was shocked to see that people have that track rated at a
Oh,
53. I honestly love that song. I don't know. Now is it the best? Is this the best album I've ever heard from them or best project? No, but it has far more life and feeling it put into it than I thought the Green album did. I don't know. This one may have a couple more bad tracks, but it's also more consistently good, in my opinion. I'm not sure what everyone was hating on with this one. Maybe,
oh
maybe I'm a Weezer fan. That's what
yeah.
I my favorites were "Pardon Me," "Hold Me," "Perfect Situation," "Haunt You Every Day," "Beverly Hills," and "Freak Me Out." My least favorites were "My Best Friend," "We Are All on Drugs," and "The Damage in Your Heart." And overall, I gave it a strong 6. I thought it was fine.
Nice. I'm glad to hear
Yeah,
that.
I'm surprised. Yeah, I saw so much hate for that album. I was like, this is
I
like
know,
good.
right?
I don't know. That was a weird one. Um. Anyways, we fast forward to 2008 with Weezer, the Red Album. And yeah, I said I'm a bit conflicted on this one. On one hand, this does have the character and attention to detail that I've been enjoying from Weezer up until this point. But on the other, I just don't think the songs themselves are very strong. It took a lot more for me to get into any of these tracks, and I think that's partially because I don't really love this style of rock music. This is the kind of sound that really goes in one ear and out the other for me. I will say that I do appreciate all the switch ups that happen on these tracks, but I tended to prefer what they transitioned into rather than what the actual meat of the song was. There can be a little bit of an American Idiot syndrome on a few of these tracks for me, which is like for me when the song is constantly switching up for no apparent reason. But that only bugged me a couple of times. The addition of more lead vocalist was also a nice change of pace. A few other people take it up other than Rivers, but they didn't really sell the album to me any more than Rivers was doing beforehand. So I don't know. This is one of those cases where I can see why someone else would love this album, but it's just not really for me. My favorites were Pork and Beans, The Angel and the One, Heart Songs, and Automatic. My least favorites were Dreamin' Everybody Get wait. My least favorites were Dreamin', Everybody Get Dangerous. I forgot a comma there. And The Greatest Man That Ever Lived. And overall, I gave it a light 6.
Okay, cool. All right. I said, oof. This one was quite the slog.
Oh man.
The longest so far, and overall in the discography, and a vast majority of it was just not good. I appreciate that they were trying new things and letting other people do some singing, But unfortunately, I don't think that it did this album any favors. It said Weezer without Rivers' voice, it just doesn't feel like Weezer at that point.
Mm.
But even a good amount of the tracks with Weezer weren't it. Lots of stinkers on this one, and will definitely not be one that I return to, but one that does kind of signal the start to a shitty era.
Mm.
Yeah. Also, the version of the album that I listened to, I guess, didn't have pork and beans on it because
Really? Did you
I heard.
listen? Did you listen to the deluxe?
Did I?
Was it over like an hour long?
It was an hour and 3 minutes.
Yeah, you listened to the deluxe.
Why? Why is the deluxe in the fucking? I'm so confused
I don't know. It
because I
should have
was
been
just
like
going by
45
Spotify.
minutes. Yeah, it should have just been like 45 minutes.
I was going by Spotify. It was just it goes Make Believe and then Weezer,
Huh.
and then uh, Pork and Beans isn't on here.
That is weird. Hold on.
So I guess I didn't get that one, but but my favorites from the version I listened to were uh, Heart Songs, The Angel and the One, and It's Easy. And my least favorites were Miss Sweeney, The Spider, Troublemaker, Thought I Knew, Automatic, The Greatest Man That Ever Lived, and I give it a light 4.
All right.
Yeah, not my favorite,
That's okay.
but yeah, here we go.
Here we
It's the moment
go.
we've all been waiting
Oh
for.
yeah.
Gratitude in 2009. Yeah, this album is a bunch of trash garbage. Everyone else was right. Uh, I didn't think it started off too bad, other than that title of the first song,
Mm,
"Woof." Get it because of the dog.
nice.
But it
Nice.
was all, but it was all downhill from there, like straight down, steep as fuck. Probably, it said nobody is surviving that shit. Not even the dog.
Oh.
It's I seriously don't know what they were thinking at all. Honestly, the father of all this is honestly the father of all of Weezer. What the fuck is a Hindi version or a blow version or bolo? What is it?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Palau version. I don't get it, man. What did I say? Maybe I just need to listen to it over and over until it clicks. I
Yeah,
don't
it
know.
sounds like a good practice.
Maybe I'll become enlightened if I do that. But yeah, my favorites were "If You're Wondering If I Want You To, I Want You To," and my least favorites were "I'm Your Daddy," "The Girl Got Hot," "Love Is the Answer," and "Let It All Hang Out." And I give it a light 2.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, Ratitude, 2009. I said, hey, look, it's the Funny Dog album. Similar to when we did Kid Cudi, and I was looking forward to Speed and Bullet out of, morbid curiosity. I was highly interested in what the hubbub around this project was about. And surprise, it's not great. Weezer decides to go straightforward pop rock on this one with an emphasis on the pop, and it leads to stereotypical garbage that you could hear anywhere else on the radio with overcompressed instrumentals and phoned-in lyrics. Rivers really writes some of the worst stuff I've heard from him yet, both lyrically and melodically. And yeah, I said, I think my faith in this project, what little I had, went completely out the window when we got a basic 2009 dance party track. And then it went even further out the window when Lil Wayne showed up on the same track. uh, my mouth was agape when I heard those lighter flicks before he came in. I was like, no fucking way this is about to happen. And I haven't even mentioned the sitar-driven Hindi track that is mixed like
Uh-huh.
shit. Sergeant Weezer's Lonely Heart Club's band over here. If I had to say anything positive about this album, I think the opener has a fun self-awareness to it that makes me forgive the bland sound. And the guitar lines throughout the album give these tracks some nice life and energy that is honestly pretty nice at points. But man, this is a bit of a train wreck. Um, yeah, I said my favorites were "If You're Wondering If I Want You To, I Want You To," and I also put Me Back Together there. Don't remember how that song goes, but least favorites were "Can't Stop Partying." Oh man, "Love Is the Answer," "Let It All Hang Out," and "The Girl Got Hot." Overall, I gave it a strong 3. I didn't think it was like terrible, but it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Your Dad. Rough.
Yeah, I think if I remember, I don't know. I didn't put that one down for some reason, but that
you
may
just
be.
you relate too heavy to the
I
lyrics.
guess so. Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, all right. Jump forward 1 year to Hurley, 2010. Um,
Wait,
hmm?
wait. What?
What?
What about Death to False Metal?
Huh?
Death to False Metal?
Did I miss
What?
something here? Hold on.
Death Gratitude. It goes Gratitude, Death to False Metal, Hurley. Am I crazy?
Uh, that wasn't listed on album of the year.
Oh.
Well,
Oh.
if you want to give a bonus episode, bonus review, you can.
Well, did you listen to 15 albums?
I did.
What was the
Um,
um
did you do Pacific Daydream?
yeah.
Uh,
I listened to Blue, Pinkerton, Green, Maladroit, Make Believe, Red, Ratitude, Death to False Metal, Hurley, Everything Will Be Alright in the End, White, Pacific Daydream, Teal, Black. Oh, I guess I listened to 16.
yeah, I was gonna say it looks like you're doing it right. Well, do you want to give a little bonus review? I'm sorry.
I guess it's on their Spotify and it's an album, so I listened to it. Um, all right. Well, Death to False Metal is a whole lot of nothing. It's nowhere near as bad as Gratitude, I guess. I mean, it's nowhere near as bad as Gratitude, and I guess I liked it more than Red, but it was still just nothing. Like I could not tell you one thing about this album if I tried, but like I guess that's better than absolutely hating it. With the little I was, with the little I was hoping for, uh, oh wait, no, hold on. With the title, I was hoping for a return to a heavier sound that they explored a few albums ago, but nah, nothing like that. I enjoyed a couple tracks, but I really just don't remember most of my time with it. So you're not missing much.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it.
My favorites on it were Odd Couple, Losing My Mind, and Autopilot. And my least favorites were I'm a Robot, Blowing My Stack, and Unbreak My Heart. And I gave them
What'd you give it? Sorry, you kind of cut out there.
a light 5.
Light five. All
Yeah.
right.
Well, all
Well,
right then.
sorry, I had another one to listen
It's okay. I
to.
did not realize I listened to 16 albums.
Yeah.
Oopsie.
Okay. You sometimes you just get caught up in the weeds, you know.
Yeah, I was lost in the weeds.
You were too excited after Ratitude.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on to Hurley. Hurley from 2010. I made an accidental pun by calling the last record a train wreck because this record now has a song on it called Trainwrecks. And
Yep.
it seems like it's aimed at critics who panned their last album. So now I feel a little bad,
It's
but I'm sure they can forgive me 14 years after the fact. Anyways, Hurley. I don't really have much to say about this one. I think it's a nice return to form for the guys, going back into their classic rock sound with a little alternative tweak to it. I think the record has a pretty good start to it, with Memories being a banger, and the aforementioned Trainwrecks being a heartfelt banger as well. In fact, if I can point out anything in particular on this album, I think Rivers' vocal performances here are arguably the best that they've ever been. But
yeah.
there's also a few points where the tracks build up to, or sorry, there are a few points when the tracks build up to a big climax, and he really sells the passion and energy to go along with those climaxes, which is something I feel like I haven't heard from him before. But the songs themselves are good. I didn't really feel too strongly in either direction on most of them. There's a couple highlights, a couple lowlights. It's just kind of like the average Weezer album thus far. So, my favorites were Memories, Trainwrecks, and Brave New World, and my least favorites were Where's My Sex, Smart Girls, and Runaway. And overall, I gave it a decent 6.
Cool. All right. Said I had listened to this album like one time years ago, but I did remember enjoying it, and I'm glad that stayed true. It's another longer one, but it's a deluxe by default, so that's okay. They breathed life back into their music and showed that they could still make worthwhile music, which thank God. Still a couple of stinkers, like "Where's My Sex," which is a great title just to say, but not not great. Um, uh, but yeah, this is much better than the last few, and it's definitely my favorite album with a member of the hit show Lost on the cover.
I would say the
Um,
same. Yeah.
yeah, but my favorites were Memories, Unspoken. Uh, I can't read my own goddamn handwriting. Uh, Runaway. No, hold on. What the fuck does that say?
Runaway.
Jeez.
There's a track called
Yeah,
Runaway.
ruling. There is. It's ruling me actually.
Oh,
Hang
okay.
on, and time flies. And my least favorites were "Where's My Sex," "Smart Girls," and "Train Wrecks," and I give it a 7.
All right.
All right. Now we get into "Everything Will Be All Right in the End" in 2014. Uh, oh yeah, underrated gem alert. Um, I also checked this one out years ago, but I remembered liking this one a lot, and that also still holds true. This one is fun from the beginning with "Ain't Got Nobody" and "Back to the Shack," um, and it doesn't have any super low points for me. It's not all perfect, but it's honestly very good, and I'm upset that it doesn't get talked about as much as others. They took a good little hiatus and started making music that bangs again, which I'm very grateful for. I really love that 3-part outro with the cool rock instrumentals for parts 1 and 3. Um, just a really solid album that I think deserves a little more time in the limelight and recognition in their discography. But yeah, my favorites were "Ain't Got Nobody," "Back to the Shack," um, Jesus, Cleopatra. That's it, Cleopatra. Da Vinci and Anonymous. And my least favorite was "The British Are Coming," but I gave it a decent 8.
All right. I just want to say I was 100% planning on doing the same Da Vinci joke, and you beat me to it.
Ah,
All right. Yeah, everything will be all right. Or no, I put everything will be alt right in the end. 2014. Sorry, too real. Nothing quite like listening to Weezer on Valentine's Day. Um,
oh yeah,
Also, I've always loved this album cover. It might just
oh
be
yeah.
the best one in their discography. I really like it. Um,
It's a great.
yeah. But as for the music, this one's pretty good. I think this record sees Weezer returning to a style that they excel in. The songs are layered and interesting. Rivers Cuomo is still singing his heart out, and the overall direction feels very focused and well put together. And I think it leads to a really solid track list. Admittedly, I didn't really like love anything on this album, but I thought it was all pretty good. I think what I love most about the album is that the songs feel like they naturally progress. It wasn't like the switch ups that were happening on Red that felt like, or even on the last few projects, like the switch ups just kind of felt like forced, but they actually feel like appropriate and deserved on this one. Like it's where the song wanted to go. So I don't know. It's a nice change of pace and something that makes me happy to hear from this band. So yeah, it's definitely a good one. My favorites were "Ain't Nobody," "Ain't Got Nobody," 3, "Return to Ithaca," "The British Are Coming," and "Eulogy for a Rock Band." My least favorites were "Go Away," "Lonely Girl," and "Da Vinci." And overall, I gave it a decent 7.
Cool. Yeah, I
Cool.
like that.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good one. I would agree.
All
It's
right.
a little underrated.
Don't do my girl dirty on this one.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Actually, I forgot to mention in my little intro. I think I had also listened to the White Album like once before,
Uh,
but didn't return to it for some reason. But yeah, next album, Weezer White Album, 2016. I said Weezer kind of pull off the impossible here. Not only are they making a fun summer album about girls and good times as a band of 40-year-olds, but they're also known for their reputation of being uncool. Yet, despite all odds, they managed to make a record that is catchy and full of warm energy. To be completely honest, I think I would appreciate this record a little bit more if it wasn't currently February when I was listening to it. But I did enjoy my time here quite a bit. In fact, this is the first album of theirs where I didn't really have a least favorite track. I threw "Do You Want to Get High" in there because it didn't do
Huh?
as much for me, but it was still a pretty good track. But I wouldn't really say I loved very many tracks. Again, I think the timing of me consuming this album may be affecting that. But it's got a lot of great hooks. It's got a lot of great production, and it knows what it wants to do, both lyrically and sonically. I think it's just a genuinely good record from the boys. My favorites were "Jacked Up," "Thank God for Girls," "L.A. Girls," "California Kids," and "Girl, We Got a Good Thing." And my least favorite was "Do You Want to Get High?" But again, I enjoyed that track quite a bit. And overall, I gave it a light to decent 8.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah. I have sung the praises of this album for as long as I've had it in my rotation.
you have.
Yeah, it is. It is a perfect summer weather album, and maybe just my favorite Weezer album in general. While the Blue album is where it all started, this one is just so fucking fun all throughout, and has fun instrumentals and lyrics as well. I love this record and the feel, even when Rivers is screaming about cannolis or Adam and Eve. Um, it's just a feel good album for me that I'll sing the praises of until the day that I fucking die. Don't test me, motherfucker. Um, but yeah, I love this record. It's just so fun. It does get a little. Uh, it does make you yearn for warmer weather if you're listening to it around this time. But yeah, it's one that I do love listening to in the summertime. But my favorites were "Go We Got a Good Thing," "Wind in Our Sail," "King of the World," "Endless Bummer," "Thank God for Girls," and "Do You Want to Get High?" And I don't have a least favorite, and I give this one a solid 9.
All right. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah.
But
I
let me get
definitely
him.
will re-listen to it again when it's
Yeah,
warm.
definitely do that.
Yeah.
Windows down, nice warm weather.
Weezer out.
It's
Yeah.
oh yeah, oh yeah. The sun's out, rivers out.
Yeah. Hell
Um,
yeah.
but then we get to Pacific Daydream in 2017. Finally, the last Weezer album that I had yet to hear.
Mm.
Unfortunately, I don't have a lot to say about it. It's okay, and I definitely see how it influenced the sound of the Black Album, which is still to come. Uh, the sound does feel very of its time to me, and it isn't the best thing that I've heard. But it's an album that I may have to return to in order to get my full thoughts on it. But I did enjoy the sound and the energy of it to an extent. It's just not able to live up to the last couple for me, which is okay. But yeah, it's just okay for right now. My favorites were Happy Hour, uh, Something Mary, Sweet Mary, and Beach Boys. And my least favorites were Weekend Woman, Feels Like Summer, and Get Right. And I give it a light 6 for now.
All right. Yeah, Pacific Daydream 2017. And I said, and this is how you don't do a summer album as 40-year-olds. Um, this record almost feels like an attempt to capture that same lightning in a bottle twice, but instead of fun guitar jams, we get One Republic-esque pop jams. And granted, I think Weezer pull off the style a little bit better than modern day One Republic, but I still don't think this is very good. It's the type of shit I'd hear in a department store and go, "Is that Rivers Cuomo? Huh." and and then go on with my day. For the most part, it isn't like unlistenable, but it's just so cookie cutter and boring to me. This record also marks the first time I found Rivers' like melodies to be kind of annoying. I personally
Wow.
feel like he's always had like strong writing on good hooks, but something what I think I meant to say, but some tracks on here get a little grating on his end, which is unfortunate. This certainly could have been worse if there were more tracks like "Feels Like Summer," but this really is just a bit of a nothing burger of an album to me. Shout out to the album cover though, because again, it's a nice one. I think that one's
Yeah.
pretty cool. My favorites were "Get Right" and "Mexican Fender," and my least favorites were "Feels Like Summer," "La Mancha Screwjob," Weekend Woman, QB Blitz, and Any Friend of Diane's. And overall, I gave it a strong 4.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Um, okay, I think this is my last. Yeah, this is my last long one. I do kind of have a lot to say about this next one. um, all right, last one. We got Weezer Teal album from 2019. I said I've never rated a cover album before, and this really got me to consider my approach. Obviously, the lyrics and melodies already exist before this, so that should have no impact on my score unless they change things up. I would say that leaves us with a few criteria: the production, the actual performances and reinterpretations of the bandmates, and the overall like worth of the album. The production's actually pretty good on here. Oh, hold on, I lost my place. Uh, okay, sorry. The production's actually pretty good on here. I think many of the synths sound really nice, and the drum and bass lines have a nice punchiness to them. Although I think some of the electric guitar explosions sound a little disconnected from the rest of the mix, but other than that, the production is pretty good. Performances from Rivers and Co. are all right. I think Rivers does a decent job throughout, and he did impress me vocally a few times. The quality of the instrumentals can kind of vary, though. Sometimes I feel like it's a nice reinterpretation of stuff, and other times I think the instrumentals can feel a little lifeless and like lacking in any character that makes the original songs so good. So it's kind of a mixed bag for me on that aspect. And but the worth of the album, I don't know. Do any of these songs benefit from Weezer giving them a cover? Honestly, no, for me. And I think that's a big blunder to the album. These covers don't do enough to differentiate themselves from the originals, nor do they do anything better than the originals. So the whole thing just kind of feels pointless to me. It's clear that Rivers and Co had fun putting this together, but it holds very little interest on my end. I don't know. It's certainly not bad most of the time, but it's just very pointless. My favorites were Happy Together. I think that was one of the few times where they actually did bring a different energy to it. Everybody Wants to Rule the World and Stand By Me. And my least favorites were Mr. Blue Sky, Billie Jean, Take on Me, and Sweet Dreams Are Made of This. And overall, I gave it a decent 4.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I said, well, isn't this a nice little detour? I think I honestly hear this version of Africa more than I actually hear the original,
Yeah.
which is a very interesting phenomena.
Yeah.
There's not much to say about this one because it is just a cover album, but it's pretty well done. Other than that Billie Jean cover, I will forever be baffled as to how they landed on doing a Weezer version of Michael Jackson. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, no Scrubs is honestly very fun, and I think Rivers doing a Weezer version of a metal song like Paranoid is very funny.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, they did have fun making this, and I just thought it'd be funny to include it. So,
It
um,
is listed as an
my
album
favorite,
album of the year, so I mean, like, I don't know.
yeah, my favorites were Stand by Me, Take on Me, Happy Together, Everybody Wants to Rule the World, No Scrubs, and Happy Together. I wrote that twice.
Yeah.
And my least favorite was Billie Jean, and I give it a solid 7 because I have fun with it. I like 80s music,
That's
and
fair.
I like Weezer. So,
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
all right. Now we get into the last color album for now with Weezer Black in 2019. Um, I think this one may be a little overhated. I get not liking some of the lyrics, and the sound is kind of weird and at certain points. But I think this one has a good amount of there is a good amount of fun throughout it. High as a Kite is a genuinely good song to me, and I can't knock the hustle while having some strangely placed Spanish for no apparent reason. In the chorus is a strange choice. It's a fun opener. There there are a couple points where it's like, all right, guys, what you doing? But otherwise, I think it's fun, and at least it's a lot fucking better than Red and Ratitude. Um, ain't nobody picking those over this. If they are, why? Um, but my favorites were High as a Kite, Can't Knock the Hustle, Living in L.A., The Prince Who Wanted Everything, and Too Many Thoughts in My Head. My least favorites were California Snow and Zombie Bastards, and I gave it a decent 7.
All right. Yeah, Weezer Black album, 2019. I said, well, we're back to the One Republic style rock, from One Republic style pop rock. I do find it interesting that they decided to call this the Black Album when it is lacking in almost any edge at all, aside from Rivers saying fuck a few times. Um,
Oh,
this album is. It wasn't that great to me. I don't know why they decided to revisit this pop rock style when it's clear that the fans weren't really vibing with it. But I guess it's what they want to do. And yeah, I feel pretty much the same about this one as I did with Pacific Daydream, except maybe a little worse. I think it's just kind of shallow pop rock, and Rivers is back to being kind of annoying in his writing. There were some songs I kind of enjoyed, but there were also quite a bit that really made me roll my eyes and kind of tested my patience a little bit. But again, I think the bad outweighed the good on this one a little bit, and I do hope they leave this kind of sound behind in whatever they venture into next. But their style works a lot better for me when it's not catering to current trends that instantly become outdated. But yeah, my favorites were High as a Kite, California Snow, and Can't Knock the Hustle. My least favorites were Living in LA, Piece of Cake, and Zombie Bastards. And overall, I gave it a decent 4 as well.
all right.
It's okay. It could also be because you said you got into them in 2019, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of Weezer research recently, and one thing that I was seeing someone say is that whatever is someone's first Weezer album that they're around for, that's just kind of like their album. I wonder if that's
Uh,
kind of true, possibly. I don't know.
well, I wouldn't consider this my album, but it might have. I might. I might. I don't know. It
Maybe.
might be the reason that I enjoy it. Uh,
Hey,
but yeah,
if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. That's completely.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Um.
I kind of like the album. They're kind of covered in tar and
Yeah. It's good
in
they didn't do
gimp.
blackface. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
remember. I remember the Fantano video where he reviewed all like the albums that he put the white album over the black album. And he's like, "No, don't take this."
Yeah. It was Weezer, not me. It was Weezer. um, um, also, I straight up lied about the last one because this is definitely the longest review. I'm sorry. Uh, next we have OK Human 2021. Um, I said I've always had love for this album, but now that I heard it in context with the rest of their discography, I appreciate it even more, to be honest. There's something so beautifully poetic in the progression of their work to end up at this project. While Weezer will sometimes dabble in new genres to varying degrees of success, I don't think they've ever taken this successful of a leap from their original sound. Not only are like the strings and orchestral bits like arranged beautifully and creatively, but they seamlessly complement Rivers' vocal style and like the style of the band in general. And when you pair that with some of Rivers' most like sticky choruses to date, you get just a recipe for success for me. Something that really grew on me this time around was the lyrics themselves. Now that I'm familiar with how Rivers writes his content, I really appreciate how he handles the subject matters on this album. While there are some moments that don't hit as hard on a lyrical level, like something like All My Favorite Songs or Screens, there are a lot of tracks on here that have genuinely like beautiful imagery and concepts, like Numbers, Bird with a Broken Wing, or Mirror Image. I think his performances on here are arguably the best on any of their albums as well. He's just like a real highlight of the album alongside the instrumentation. And while I do love everything about this record, I do think there is a little bit of a shift around halfway where the album goes from these songs are just like fucking perfect to these songs are pretty good. Um, it's just like a slight drop in quality, but it's not like too bad. Things do wrap up strongly with La Brea Tar Pits, but I do find a lot of the second half to be just slightly forgettable, even if their hooks are still like incredible, honestly. Yeah, this is genuinely some of their best work all around. I love how much detail and care is given to these songs because it really pays off in their most mature sounding record. Um, this does feel like a little bit of a one off thing for them, but I honestly would not be mad if they revisited the style because I think it perfectly blends their talents as songwriters and musicians. My favorites are Alu Gobi, Numbers, Mirror Image, Grapes of Wrath, Playing My Piano, and La Brea Tar Pits, and my least favorites are Screens and Dead Roses. And overall, I gave it a strong 8.
Cool. That oh yeah, baby, let's fucking go. So this came out slightly before we started the podcast, but I
Yes.
guarantee we would have talked about it a lot. had it dropped when we had started.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the transitions, the orchestral beats, the lyric work, it's all it's all Jesus. It's all so shiny and well done. It truly felt like the first made in quarantine album, and I think it still does feel like that. And it shines a light on how terrible events can truly help when it comes to making banger music. Um, I hadn't listened to this album in a good minute, but I still absolutely love it. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's a great fucking album. I love it a
Yeah.
lot, and yeah, it is a style that I would love to see them return to, but I can also see them not ever doing that, which is
Yeah.
fine. Um, but also great fucking album cover. I love how
Yeah, that was a good one
crazy
too.
it is. Um, and I remember watching it. They did a little like a little concert, like a video
Oh
concert.
yeah, I remember you
Um,
talking about that.
that was good. And but yeah, but my favorites were Bird with a Broken Wing, La Brea Tar Pits, Playing My Piano, Alu Gobi, Mirror Image, and Grapes of Wrath. And I don't have any least favorites, and I give it a solid 9.
All right.
I absolutely dig that. But here we go.
There we go. We made it.
Weezer. Van Weezer, baby. 2021. Hey, man. They wanted to do Weezer with that 80s rock inspired sound, and they sure did that. Uh, I think it's an honestly good time throughout, and while it's no OK Human, it brings back that original recipe Weezer in a fun way. Um, the instrumentals all sound good, and it is a genuinely well done emulation of 80s rock. And yeah, it's a good time. I don't have a ton to say because this one is pretty harmless, but I wouldn't mind seeing them do this style again. They seem to have fun with it. Um, but maybe lay off of lyrics like asking daddy asking daddy to pump it into you anymore.
Yeah.
Um, I got to that lyric a little earlier when I was finishing this up, and I completely forgot about that. But
Yeah.
maybe maybe no more of that. Rivers, thank you in advance. But my favorites were Blue Dream, Hero, The End of the Game, and I Need Some of That. And my least favorite was One More Hit, and I give it a light 8 because it's fun.
All right. Yeah, Van Weezer 2021. And here we are, the absolute pinnacle of this legendary band's output, Van Weezer. I sound a little bit like a broken record here, but I really do mean it this time. This album did close to nothing for me, unfortunately. Um, I am not at all connected to this style of rock music, and I honestly have zero interest in it as well. I really tried, but this was arguably their most boring album for me. They're obviously having fun on it, and Rivers writes a few solid hooks here and there, but 80% of this album just kind of left me feeling no emotion. It's not bad. It just kind of exists for me. I totally get why someone would like this more than me, but I really just don't have much to say other than it's not for me whatsoever. So yeah, it's just personal. But my favorites are the end of the game and one more hit, except for the daddy lyric. And
Yeah.
my least favorites are Sheila Can Do It and Blue Dream as well. And overall, I gave it a strong 5. Uh,
Yeah. All
not
right.
quite for
Well,
me, but
that's fair.
that's okay. All right, we did it. 15, 16 albums if you're Colin.
Yeah.
All right, now we got a little conclusionary paragraphs. All right. I said, I've seen Weezer been labeled as consistently inconsistent, and I don't think there's a better description of them than that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I can't be too mad at them about that, though, because no matter which questionable genre they may dabble into, I never really get the sense that they are making music that they don't want to be making. They commit to their decision and put passion into every project, except for maybe the Green Album for me. I could feel the passion everywhere else. And again, I don't think these are always great decisions in the first place, but it's obviously what they wanted to do, and I respect them for that. That's one of the things that made this listening a lot easier than Green Day, because with Green Day you could slowly feel the life being sucked out of them with every record post American Idiot, and but you know whatever. Back to Weezer. I also respect them for keeping their album. I respect Weezer for keeping their albums consistently around like 30 minutes in length. I didn't listen to any of the deluxe versions. I'm not sure. I was checking album of the year to like stop the albums at like when the standard edition stops and stuff like that, just because it was a lot of
Uh,
stuff. But all of them
you missed a pretty good version of Viva La Vida by Coldplay from early.
actually.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. But maybe I'll go back for that one. But I'm glad that they keep their albums pretty consistently around 30 minutes. I think the longest one was like 45 minutes, but those were kind of like the exceptions to the rule. I feel like 30 minutes is like the sweet spot for their sound, and anything more than that is just a little too much Weezer at once. In general, their self awareness is one of their strong suits as a band. They're dorky as hell, and they own up to it in ways that feel charming and wholesome. Uh, it can also be a bit cringe at times, especially when the genre itself isn't working, but I think they make it work more often than they don't. The nerdiness is part of it. But yeah, speaking as someone with very little Weezer knowledge prior to this, my mental capacity has expanded and I now understand the complex secrets of the universe. And it's all thanks to Rivers Cuomo. but for, but for real, I would say I enjoy them quite a bit as a band, and there's a few records here that I will return to in the future. Probably not this year though, because they're already likely to show up in my Spotify Wrapped. So stay tuned for that. Um, yeah.
All right. I said, "Oh, Weezer, what can I really say about thee? You're a bunch of nerdy ass incels who have made genuinely trash music, but also genuinely fantastic music. That's not an easy feat, but you've done it multiple times, and
and,
it's
con-
honestly impressive.
and continue to do
Um,
so.
yeah, uh, and despite the absolute trash that you've put out over the years, I do love this band, and I constantly return and will return to their music for a long, long time. Rivers is a very unique frontman, but it wouldn't be Weezer without him. Um, Maybe just try to be a little less incelly as the years go by and you get older, bud. Um, Love you.
Love you,
Um,
Rivers.
love you, Rivers. Um, but my album ranking go white, okay, human, blue, green. Everything will be all right in the end. Pinkerton, make believe, teal, black, maladroit, Hurley, Pacific Daydream, Death to False Metal, red, and Ratitude. And I gave him a light 7 overall.
Right. My ranking is Weezer, blue. Okay, human, Weezer, white. Maladroit, Pinkerton, everything will be alright in the end. Make Believe, Hurley, Weezer Green, Weezer Red, Van Weezer, Pacific Daydream, Weezer Black, Weezer Teal, and Ratitude. And,
Uh,
and overall, I gave them a strong 6, so not too far off.
that's why I thought I listened to 15 because I forgot to put the band Weezer in my album ranking.
Oh,
Um, I was like, okay, perfect, 15.
I was wondering how that happened.
That's why. Um, but yeah, Van Weezer would be in there somewhere. I don't know.
It's in there somewhere.
but
Uh,
this was our longest artist analysis,
in terms of
and
album numbers, yes.
yeah, and with our Green Day, that's how I finished out my first notebook, and now with Weezer, that's how I finished out my second notebook for the podcast.
How poetic.
Yeah.
The two long ones. I mean, the Taylor Swift one was long too, but
Yeah, that was just length.
yeah, that was more length, more girth, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
um, but yeah.
Cool.
Well, we are at time, believe it or not.
Well,
So we're not quite off the Weezer train yet because Colin, you got to choose a song of the week for us,
All right. Well,
unless you want to break
I'll go.
tradition.
No, it's okay. Uh, I'm gonna go with something off of my favorite Weezer album. I'm gonna go with "Thank God for Girls" off of Weezer White.
All right.
All right, that was "Thank God for Girls" by Weezer. What'd you think, Mike?
Uh, banger. I mean, honestly, I had listened to a lot of Weezer up before that point, so I didn't really remember that one too much. I did save it while I was listening,
Uh,
but honestly, yeah, complete banger. I completely get why you chose that one. Something
yeah.
I just want to add. I was looking at Genius at the lyrics through it, and Rivers Cuomo has quite a few like verified things on there. Um,
Not really.
and I thought this was really funny. The line "microwaved it on the popcorn setting" was in gold, and I clicked on it, and it's just a picture of Rivers Cuomo taking a picture of the popcorn button on his microwave, and you can like see his reflection in him taking the pic. It's so wholesome. Um,
That's really. I love Rivers.
yeah, but
It's such a
yeah,
fucking
it's a
weirdo.
it's a great song. It's a great song.
Yeah, I love the. That really hurt.
Yeah,
That's so stupid. I love it.
yeah.
All right,
All
what you
right,
got?
yeah, it's a fun song. Um, I I'm deciding to go with something from the Blue album since we don't actually have any of that in the playlist. And you know what? It's a classic for a reason, but I thought I enjoyed it a lot more than I even thought I was going to. So I'm going to go with "Say It Ain't So" by Weezer.
Ooh.
All right, that was "Say It Ain't So" by Weezer. What did you think of that, Colin?
I fucking love that song. It might be my favorite song by Weezer, just in general. Um, it's just so good. That guitar riff, I love Rivers' singing on it. That final "Say It Ain't So" where he gets high a little bit at the
Mm-hmm.
end. Mm,
Yeah.
good, good shit. Yeah, that was my choices were between something on the White Album and "Say It Ain't So." So I'm glad we got to listen to both.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
But yeah, uh, but yeah, I love that track so much.
Yeah, I mean, that's one like I knew the chorus of that song, and I think I did even know like the guitar lines and stuff and the verses, but like I don't know, just hearing it all together as like a full song for the first time, I was like, dang, this is really good. Like, it's
Yeah.
just I think I may even agree with you that it might just be the best Weezer song. It's just I love how dynamic it is. I
Mhm.
love the passion and in the performances. And I was looking through the lyrics really for the first time this time too, and just kind of seeing like the actual story behind what's going on as well as it's a well written song.
Mhm.
It's just like it's kind of got everything. So yeah, really good track. Um,
Yeah. Sal Humor Joe. Whoa, whoa. You know,
what was that?
Sal Humor Joe. That's what the that's what the picture of the Impractical Jokers is. Weezer.
Oh, gotcha,
And yeah, they said they changed it from "Say It Ain't So" to "Sal Humor Joe."
gotcha.
Um,
I forgot one of their
yeah.
names is just Q.
Yep.
I've never actually watched. I've seen clips of Impractical Jokers, but I've never actually watched
What?
it. Yeah,
I love Impractical Jokers. It's good.
yeah, but
Joe left the same day that Betty White died.
damn, he had to, you know, reminisce, and I don't know. I don't know where to take that.
That's all right. Just random fact.
Yeah. Well, another random fact is this episode's coming to an end. So
Mhm.
we gotta give a little spiel and rundown, and this is the fun part of the video that you should stick around for. But, yeah, if you enjoyed watching and you're on streaming services, thank you. First of all, thank you for doing that.
Love you to
Um,
death.
Second of all, you can come on over to YouTube. We're under the same name, Broken Boys, capital N BOIS. and you can find you can see our beautiful pictures. You can see the Impractical Jokers Weezer picture that Colin was just talking about.
Mhm.
He's been repping the Weezer blue all episode.
Oh yeah.
It's been there, and I just have this putrid brown as my background, so it's a beautiful combo. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, come on over there to see that. But you can also get links to the Song of the Week playlist that we just did, where you can listen to Say It Ain't So by Weezer, or you can listen to Thank God for Girls by Weezer. And you can find that in two of three places. You got a playlist all for me, you got a playlist all for Colin, and you got a playlist for all of the songs we've ever had in this segment combined into one big one. Um, and yeah, go check out those. A lot of good stuff in there. For us personally, for me, I've got music. I've got music on Spotify and Apple Music under the name Plaintive. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, Plaintive. Yeah. Go check. Go check
Like that.
out though that stuff. New stuff still being worked on.
Oh,
I'm still loving what I'm doing, but it's just
does go. I've got Max over here going plaintive reference to certain thing.
Oh really? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
God, hey, I do that to myself too. Every now and then when I'm writing honestly on something, I'm like, God damn it, I say honest way too much. um, yeah, Max approved and Colin approved. So go check out the
Yes.
music. And yeah, new stuff will be coming soon. I have an album of the year page. You can check out all my Weezer reviews. I actually did them in real time this week because there were
Wow.
so many of them, and I didn't want to post 15 things at once. So, uh, yeah, go check out all those. That was pretty fun. Um, and I have my YouTube channel down there. Oh, I forgot to mention, I posted a piano cover this week.
Oh yeah.
I did a Leve piano cover. There's gonna be a couple more Leve ones that I'm gonna post, I think. So go check out those. She's her stuff translates to solo piano really well. Um,
Oh yeah.
and I think my Instagram's there. Oh, and my TikTok. Okay. And for Colin, he runs our socials. He runs our TikTok. Where you got a bunch of funny clips on there. We like to have fun here sometimes, so go check out those on those rare occasions when we do.
Yeah.
And and he also runs our Twitter page where he updates when videos are posted. So go check that
Yeah.
as well. And he also has an album of the year page, where maybe these Weezer reviews will be up.
Maybe someday. I
Maybe
haven't
someday.
updated my shit in a long day. Long time.
That's okay. um, but that's still there if you want to see ratings on all the music that we love. Um, and he also has Letterboxd where he rates and reviews movies. Um, and he also has an Instagram page where he rates and reviews music just as regularly.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and
Honestly, nowadays, yeah.
yeah. um, but yeah. And I forgot to do our relation. Um,
Oh yeah.
I am taking the place of Rivers Cuomo and the Weezer Blue album
Okay.
in relation to the
Uh,
viewer.
yeah. I was gonna say I'm on the far right. Um, wise.
Yeah, you usually are on the far right, so.
Shut up. No. But yeah, I mean that works perfectly if you're in Rivers' spot and I'm on the farthest right.
That's
So
true. Yeah, and if you want to be one of the other two in the photo, Colin, explain to them how that process works.
all right. Well, Rivers is Rivers Mike Cuomo is going to come at you from behind. He's going to turn you so you're facing me, just so this works. So he's behind you and I'm in front of you,
Okay.
and um, you're going to be you, the viewer, are going to be between me, uh, a member of Weezer, and Mike Rivers Cuomo.
Hmm.
Um,
I
and
like
we're
how.
going to.
Sorry, you went from Rivers Mike Cuomo to Mike Rivers Cuomo, so now it's implied that my name is Mike Cuomo. Yes, yes.
But anyway, continuity aside.
I prefer that one.
Perfect. Mike Rivers Cuomo is gonna hug you from behind, and I will hug you from in front, and we will. Before me and Mike kiss violently, we're going to
Spoiler alert.
sing sing um the Hindi version song from Ratatouille softly into your ear.
Mm-hmm.
And then after we're done doing that, we're gonna finally smooch, and it's a good one. It's gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
The sexual tension from Pinkerton
Mm-hmm.
and all the other incelly songs from their discography are finally gonna explode from us.
Yes.
And finally, I'll be asking, "Where's my sex?"
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's what we call the love cage, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if that sounds appealing to you, which I know it does, if you want your very own, you just got to drop your address in the comments below, and we will find you. You won't know when, you won't know where, but we will find you and fulfill that love cage just for you.
Yeah. Hell yeah. So look
Hell yeah.
forward to that. um,
You bet.
Next week we will have a bracket of some sort. We will figure that out. But
Yep.
until then,
Weezer bracket coming
yeah, we're
next
gonna rank every Weezer song next week. So as if our brackets aren't long enough.
week.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, stay wheezy, everyone.
Stay Weezy.